One of the stories I'm writing involves a group of people finding themselves suddenly bereft of all technology in an unfamiliar place. Nowadays, that is a feeling we almost don't remember. To research for this story one writing day a couple of years ago, I took a ferry in the morning to a suburb I had never visited before in Sydney, and I turned my phone off. I walked around for hours aimlessly, feeling the place, feeling the feelings, noting how many times I reached for my phone, only to remember it was turned off and I couldn't use it, that I was stepping into the shoes of my characters. I was taking notes of the sensations and conclusions that would make into the story, and noticing the city under my feet. The cost of this was the fixed cost of my writing day and the ferry ticket. The experience was unforgettable, and the writing it unlocked, priceless. Welcome to Creative Space Mastery Podcast, the show about how to establish a framework to get your creative practice going, bringing consistent creative productivity. I'm Tanya Crivalenti, an author who has been on the storytelling path for 20 years now, in joy and in chaos, and I'm able to be productive every week. I invite artists and all types of creators out there to hear about a practical process, metaphors, and examples in order to achieve creative space mastery. Being creative can mean to be creative on how to become more inventive and unlock more of your creativity. And try to introduce innovation is the ticket, but don't confuse it with putting you off your game. It's a fine balance. If you get too uncomfortable, inspiration dries up and you climb up. If you get irritated, if you're sitting in a bad chair, if the pain points are too intense, they will disturb your flow. But if the incentives are greater than the pain, then nothing matters. Sometimes I'm riding on the ferry, sitting in the worst seats, there's sea spray on my face, the sun is bearing on me, there's noise, and I'm so inspired I can't stop writing. I told you before about the writing group on the pub, where it's full of noise, that people drown with their headphones with louder music. But something works because the dynamic of writing together makes the group produce better, through noise and discomfort. The trick is interrogating and bargaining with your inner self and doing trade-offs, this for that. You are the only one who can judge what will work for you. I couldn't have done my day of technology on a cold, rainy day. My trade-off for that experience was a perfect day. Amazing weather, ideal temperature, I was wearing a hat, and I got myself a popsicle during my walk. From the last episodes, we have determined that for us, creative space is something you establish right now with whatever time you can give it, involving all activities relating to your art. It is recurring, contractual, it is an imperfect process, and it is a protected space for inspiration to come through the middle. In previous episodes, we have discussed about setting a recurring time for creating, declaring what it is that you truly want to do, bravely declaring your passion. We talked about creating with focus as a professional. Then we discussed about following the ducks of inspiration, your true muse, and what it is to have chaos under management and ride the lows gracefully. We talked about the art of having fun doing whatever, and how there are no limits to what you can do with that. We explored setting some rules for yourself to protect you from falling down some rabbit holes and losing your time unproductively. followed by how to create an impermeable membrane and protect your time from others. We discussed not being alone in the cosmos, surrounding yourself with knowledge, with people who can support you, with sources of inspiration. Today, we're talking about variety and the various ways to mix it up. Another way to do it is with technique. A while ago, I invested in a technology I had wanted for some time, a remarkable tablet. It's for handwriting. It's a thing that it's for concentration, not distraction. It's similar to Kindle technology. It doesn't have backlight and it feels like you're writing on real paper. But you can erase it and cut and paste things. It's the dream for someone who loves handwriting and calligraphy. I had forgotten how much I liked handwriting. The pleasure of taking pen to paper and forgetting oneself. I touch type and I can type looking outside the window, so it's a great way of creating too. I still work on typing on a computer often, depending on the project, on the day. I'm actually much faster that way. However, I realized that handwriting activates different parts of the brain. I noticed that it stimulates me differently than typing, and I started enjoying the experience immensely. It's great sitting at a cafe with just my tablet, my thoughts, and a coffee, and spend a few hours putting ideas down. I also enjoy the many conversations I have because people ask me about the tablet. They poke me. Even when I had my headphones in and head down in the middle of an intense writing session, I learned to laugh it in and count as part of the experience. So far, I have spoken with people of every sort, shape, age, size, who have asked me about the tablet or the ferry, cafes, train, everywhere. It's been a lot of fun. Varying the way I write, where I do it, promotes ways for my creativity to come forth. Whatever you are creating, find ways to create variety. If you are a dancer, go and explore other styles you have never tried, outside of your awareness preferably. If you're a ballet dancer, try Latin dancing. If you're a Latin dancer, try capoeira. A contemporary dancer can try West Coast swing, and a Bollywood dancer could experiment with the hula or belly dancing. There are so many possibilities. You got the gist. If you're a painter, you can experiment with different types of paint, with textures of canvases and the sizes of medias and formats or shapes, and even the experience painting with your hands and other body parts. I went to a sexpo once, an exhibition about, sex, and saw a gentleman painting with his male anatomy body part, and it was not primitive painting either. A person who writes computer code can try different coding languages, experiment learning a new one. You can code conversing with AI nowadays. A project manager can experiment with other methods, from waterfall to agile, Six Sigma prints, if the type of project permits. You can at least understand other methodologies and see if they could offer something innovative for your workplace. Or could you combine two methodologies in a project? If you are a musician, like that story I told in a previous chapter, experiment creating music with blowing raspberries on a glass, and anything else you can think of. Sculpt with your children using Play-Doh. Cook using spices you have never heard of. One every weekend. The sky's the limit. Money can expand your limits, but creativity and reaching out, researching and spreading your wings is really all it takes. There is an exercise I like. Imagine you are the creator you want to be. In my case, it would be a full-time storyteller. Imagine what you would do, what your day would be like, the things you could create, what would be the type of parallel activities you would take or do, what resources you would have or need. Spend some time in this space, have fun with this exercise. Write or draw it. Create a vision board if you like those. Go as deep as you want with this. I played this game with a friend once and she asked me why I can't do any of that. What is the point? I explained that is exactly it. Are you sure you cannot do any of that? The thing is, you will find there are things from that list you can actually start doing now. And they will be fun, exciting, and they will open up many possibilities now for your future endeavors. You will feel empowered and find that there are adventures you could explore. In 2019, I went on a research adventure for the story I mentioned at the start of this episode. The story is situated in Noumea, a city of the archipelago of New Caledonia, a true paradise. It's a place I visited with my parents and my sister, and I loved it so much. It stayed with me to the point that I situated my novel there. I was writing the story and I needed a feel of the place. I was working part-time. I decided to put some leave days together, book a flight with frequent flyer points. I found a great Airbnb and booked it in. Next, I contacted the university where I was going to concentrate some of the action of the story, the University of New Caledonia. They were extremely receptive and attentive. That trip was an unforgettable moment. It will take me years to finish that story, but it isn't wasted or forgotten. New Caledonia is a French territory, so they aligned me with a graduate student who was super excited to practice his English since he was studying English literature. And I was super excited to be shown the place that I wanted to see. He showed me the whole university, and I built a world and a story there. Everyone gained with the experience. I felt like a superstar, and they exchanged knowledge and received a visiting scholar. When the book gains notoriety, I'm not going to say if, they will have to do tours for the fans. Imagine! I'm just adding that to my visualization routine. I have a coffee mug from the university that they gave me as a gift. And every time I have a coffee on it, it brings a smile to my face. It instantly brings me inspiration and joy. The next day from the university visit, I had lined up an interview with a gentleman who was at the time the only person of Kanak background to have a doctorate degree on the island. Hopefully the numbers have improved by now. His studies were on the Kanak culture, and it was why I was interested in speaking with him. But the best was how we proceeded with the interview. When I was 8 years old, I lived in Paris with my parents for 1 year when my mother was undergoing her doctorate. Because of that, I spent year 1 of school in a French school, and I can still understand the language. I cannot speak or write in French, but I have a good level of comprehension. The doctor I was interviewing had about the same level of dominion over the English language. My desire to speak to him was because I'm using aspects of the Kanak culture into my story. The Kanak are the native indigenous of New Caledonia, the custodians, first peoples of the island, and I wanted to know more about their culture, stories, and beliefs, and how I could use them appropriately. We had this unbelievable conversation. I would ask him a question in English, and he would answer it in French. He had an elder accompanying him, an uncle, with whom he would exchange ideas and confirm knowledge. The conversation was amazing. We were at a fantastic venue, a hotel overseeing the sunset, pouring crimson over the ocean, drinking hot chocolate. I can still draw a lot of inspiration from the memory of that trip, and a lot of other adventures I created for my writing. I'm constantly finding ways to infuse my day with a sense of novelty in small and big ways. with whatever energy, resources, and time I have available. Sometimes it's writing from the balcony. I take myself to the little park at the end of my road, or take trains to the cities nearby and back on my writing day. I am happy to report that I have negotiated at my new workplace to work 4 days to have a study writing day per week from now on. So I'm back on track with my creative time. Nowadays, I'm taking myself to my new university most weeks, which has an unbelievable campus. Every time I go there, I explore a new building, a new place to work from. They have internal gardens on top floors, a lake with balconies overseeing it, and rooms overlooking the forest. The architecture is inspiring. The entire place is designed to make you want to study, write, and produce insights. Before, I took myself visiting the various libraries of my city. I think I know almost all of them, and there are many. What is available to you? Can you visit your city's university? Is it a public space you can use? Are there libraries? If your activity is done in a group, you rotate houses to make it special every time. With online resources these days and search engines, we can look and find a lot of variations over themes. Search for what is around your region. It is always worth going after associations, groups, clubs, people who have know-how on how to spark ideas in what you do. They have workshops, retreats, groups, and often there are people looking for others to join in free activities. People looking for guinea pigs to try out new things, and plenty of opportunity to mix it up. If you do have money to invest, taking paid retreats, workshops, or courses is a great way to mix it up. But choose the ones that are the right ones for you. Your time is your most precious commodity. They are to spark your creativity, and then you must have time to use what you learned. It is unwise to embark on a path of rolling from one course onto the next and the next without a plan or goal in mind. Make sure if you're attending them, there is a strong motivation and plan behind them, and a stronger agreement from your guts to do them. For free activities, there are plenty. You can go for a picnic in your backyard, put a table on your balcony, paint sitting on the windowsill. You don't need much. Use your frequent flyer points to fly somewhere you've never been if you have those. Stay couch surfing or at a friend's of a friend's. The message is, dare talk to a university across the ocean about a book you haven't finished writing yet and will take years. Dare contact a person you have to interview in another language. The equivalent of that for you. You will feel incredibly empowered by this sort of experience. I can guarantee it. Sometimes I sit at a cafe and start collecting dialogues. I write down what I hear, snippets of conversation. I don't write names or any identifying features to preserve people's privacy, but I keep the cadence, the rhythm, the slangs, the accents. I love hearing people speak in other languages, and I write what they remind me of and what language I think they're speaking in. I describe characters I see on my notes, often collecting characters from the streets. I take discreet photos of tattooed calves or a person dressed in an unusual way, not to publish anywhere or to make it exactly like that for a character, but to serve as inspiration and idea for one. I collect interesting things that can serve as points for future writing. I collect adjectives, descriptions, facts sometimes. That man has soulful eyes. That baby looks like a mini adult, not a baby, I tell myself. I collect dragonflies, shapes of leaves on trees, sunset colors. I collect sounds, smells, shapes, and colors, pulling the mix into my memories to write about them later on. You use more one side or the other of the brain depending on how you do things. Different senses activate different parts of the brain or activate different chakras and flows of energy. Whatever your beliefs are, vary your routines whenever you feel your creativity has reached stagnation. If you have a routine that works for you and you are super creative and the results are inspiring, keep it as long as it's working. Usually the variety happens at other times in life for these creators. As I said before, keep the balance. Don't disrupt your life for the sake of disruption. Create variety when you can benefit from more inspiration. Follow your ducks. If your inspiration tells you to create variety, find the ways where you can mix it up. I hope the ideas I have given in this episode help. Remember, as I have been saying all along, there is no right or wrong way of doing this. Only the ways this works for you or not. Only you can say what really makes you happy, what sparks more or less ideas, what helps or hinders you to create more or less. Some people are more productive in groups, some more productive secluded. And people often change according to the project they are working on, or how they are feeling at certain times of the month, the year, or even the day. Obey your own rhythms. They are the ones that count creativity-wise. In your creative kingdom, you are queen, king, and subject. This is it. If you have set up a recurring time to create, declared your passion bravely, dedicated yourself professionally to this time of creation. When you follow your dots of inspiration to know what you want to work on, during which time you manage your chaos wisely, riding the lows gracefully, and mastering the art of having fun doing whatever crap you want to do. You then have set up the rules to safeguard you from your rabbit holes, and you have set down the boundaries for other people. You have surrounded yourself with a support system, and now you are mixing it up, finding inventive ways to spark creativity. Without this, you are well on your way to have a space for inspiration to glide through the middle. Thank you for listening to Creative Space Mastery Podcast. You will find all about this discussion at creativespacemastery.com and hope to catch you at my next episode. If you like it, give the show some stars, write a review and share it with someone who could enjoy it. See you next time. Ciao!